Hi, my friends and family. Welcome back to my channel. And wow, I'm really enjoying this rare California unengineered heat wave, and sweating in this perfect 80-degree Santa Cruz day today. And if I didn't have any professional goals or desire to have children, I wouldn't want to be a slave for a box when I'm here in the cool water paradise. And that goes into the topic of today's session is gaslighting is actually projection and disassociation to truth. This idea comes from Professor Sam Vaknin, actually the father of the wild and crazy YouTube phenomenon, viral phenomenon of narcissistic discussions. And his recent contribution to this was he said that he couldn't find any videos talking about how gaslighting is a form of disassociation. Well, I have to add it's also projection. Because it's crazy. I think it's crazy. This entire mainstream world is insanely crazy. How would anybody know what's happening if we're all so insane now? Crazy on you. Gonna let me go crazy, crazy on you. Why? Well, I say gaslighting is actually projection. That's right. Do you know what gaslighting is? It's creating a situation it's a mind control scheme in somebody's mind that makes them believe they're crazy. So the idea for this video came from Sam Vaknin, who is actually the father or godfather of the YouTube narcissistic phenomena, and all these probably hundreds of people who have channels just about this one subject. And he says that gaslighting is actually a form of disassociation. In other words, disassociation is where you don't associate in your mind. You cut off, by making me crazy, you cut off your mind from the truth that is within me, from my perspective. So that's a good example. And I say it is projection. Okay, so Sam came from Israel, and he actually did 3 years in the penitentiary for fraud, embezzlement, major fraud. And he was on the high bunk bed in the prison dormitory, and he wrote a book called Malignance of Love, Narcissism Revisited, which I've yet to read. I plan to read. And this was in 1996. He stayed up into the night writing this book, and this was the beginning of the world becoming aware that narcissistic personality disorder is a major tragic epidemic that's growing in popularity. Thus, several YouTube psychologists having millions of subscribers, and a dozen sexy-looking 30-year-old YouTubers who don't know what they're talking about having tens of thousands, many more subscribers than Sam. Because YouTube is often about being cute and pretending to know stuff. So who's to say where I am on the gradient there? But so after writing this book, he got his degree in psychology. Later, now he's a psychology teacher and wrote several other books. And before this happened, narcissistic personality disorder was not really acknowledged as a major problem. As I've said in previous transmissions, it's not in the DSM-V for a very important reason, because it is actually the archetype of or character of Lucifer, our junior god, architect's archetype, okay? And thus they wanted to keep this hidden, that it even existed. That's why it's so sexy to a lot of people in their mind to expose it now. One crazy thing I surely learned to match the devil with is becoming stubborn about sharing the truth. Now, why on this channel, if I'm talking about spiritual ascension and the gnosis, the Gnostic truth of the Christ within, and how to raise your frequency and transcend and escape prison planet and ascend, why do I want to use psychology? Isn't it the language system of modern Babylonian? Isn't it a Babylonian system? Well, I see where they're coming from. This brings up a quote. I don't know who said it, but something like, there is nothing healthy about fitting in with a profoundly sick society. Put it in the comments if anyone knows who said that. That statement is true, yet I consider psychology really is gnosis. Because as Dr. C says on YouTube, wisdom is power, or gnosis is power, and a psychological understanding or overstanding of the personal self-identity, okay? Who you think you are, who the devil is, who the real creator is, and your motivation is essential, okay, in your healing. So, psychology, you could say comes from the tradition of Native American talk therapy, and then Catholic confession made into a colloquial business for Babylon. So, but you have to know your motivation. You have to learn to know thyself, which is what, the slogan of psychology is key. So, but remember, what I'm doing now, asceticism, is fully insane, particularly in California. Maybe I'm only doing this because I felt boxed into a corner, either be a slave or be in the forest. I'm not sure if I'm joking, which makes it more humorous, right? Honesty is funny. But asceticism, think about how peaceful it is, as I've said, in the forest compared to how it is in the black magic grid of the city. Besides, it is the magic bullet, quick fix of black magic, big pharma, big farm, blue oblivion pill, like the Matrix, but it's the blue oblivion pill. Now it's got nanotech that'll make it so you go right to oblivion. And you have to understand, when I bring up psychology terms and psychology concepts, it's not only talk therapy, it's exactly the opposite of psychiatry, okay? Because in its current idiot nation stems from literally bringing, after they did 5 or 10 years, and after Nuremberg trials, they brought Nazi scientists, drug makers, and so-called psychologists, psychiatrists over to create what we call modern psychiatry in the USA. Is literally comes from hundreds of Nazis, scientists were brought over to create it from Germany through Project Paperclip. For the loose feeding to continue, ego control is a must. If we're going to continue to feed these parasites, we have to be controlled by our ego. This is the key, okay? This is why psychology can be helpful to learn how your ego works. Psychology is a secularized version of Native American talk therapy or Catholic confession brought into the 3D world. So it's designed to help you with the 3D world, but it is helpful in a limited way. Sam respects Freud and not Carl Jung, whereas I'm the opposite. I respect Carl Jung far more than Freud. He drinks a red wine on the show, whereas I take cannabis to help me. That would make drinking red wine would make me resemble a narcissist. Whereas I like to use ganja to find access to psychological courage and learning and in depth. To take the red pill and take a deeper dive. As I've said, it's weed or cannabis can be thought of for some people with the type of personality I have as a shrink. Ganja is good to big up, healing, but does it increase narcissism? It's a personal thing. That's another video. Since I was very little, I was called weird hundreds of times, crazy, genius, golden child, I'm better than, or smarter than, or dumber than, or autistic. You see, all indigo children, all starseeds are usually, especially in USA or Europe, targeted, and I was no exception. Okay, you're weird, you're weird. That's what people would always tell me hundreds of times. I've been gaslit 500 times in this body, in this flesh suit, in Indigo Harvest. Folks are encouraged into narcissistic personality disorder or to think that I'm nuts. Okay. What is gaslighting? Well, it's creating a situation where the individual that you are convincing, it's a form of mind control, really, but it's a natural thing that people obeying the devil do in psychology, who watch mainstream media, where they frame you in a situation and say you are crazy. And it has a lot of similarities to all cult mind control, because the individual is going to have to be isolated from the world to believe they're so crazy for the gaslighting. Now, why was this the word of the year in 2021, I believe? Because think about how many people in the year 2020 were made crazy by the master, by Lucifer and all of their friends, masters of mind manipulation, mind control mastery, okay? That was the biggest gaslighting ever done, okay? MK Ultra ever done. And cults, discernment is gaslit, okay? In favor of spiritual bypassing. Narcissist gaslighting is dissociation, as Sam Vaknin pointed out, because it is projecting their insanity or their refusal to accept the part of them that's in that person into their life. They're projecting their own insanity onto you. And your empathy is crazy to the Narcissistic World Order, the N.W.O. Narcissistic World Order. If you are yourself, it's offensive. If you do something great or beautiful or you're original or yourself, it's scary to them. The narcissist is actually very obedient to the narcissistic predator entities or the anti-life satanic order within. It is a very profoundly sick society, so you must be made crazy, or the narcissist bullshit, one-upmanship contest, and the gaslighting individual is afraid of the truth that includes freedom and respect. Thus, they are afraid of you, because if you don't fit into their sick society, you represent something for them to be afraid of. And this is why I had to be made crazy since I was little. I was targeted. I was told I am a genius. I was gaslit, called crazy. And I knew it was due to my creativity, my high IQ, my old soul, and because I always knew the oneness is the obvious truth. When I heard Bob Marley at age 13 in Dove Reaction, why was it only Bob Marley and John Lennon mentioning this fact? Can't you see why they had to be gaslit and burned to death, celebrated as they were roasted on Lucifer's popular icons with oneness awareness martyr fires, the martyr fire burning in perpetuity, and to celebrate and kill the bodies of popular truth tellers. I am lucky to be the grandson of a 33-degree Freemason and have my illness and just be gaslit. Lucifer, the demiurge, Yahweh, Baphomet, Mammon, our patriarchal junior father, geneticist, middleman gods, Enki and sons, in other words, are insane, disassociative, crazy fake makers or tinkerers, and anyone who interferes with their interfering in the ascension plan will learn fast who the fake gods who are taking over everything really are, and how the devil doesn't like it if you show your greatness in a way that they can't at least tax on, if not destroy. If you enjoyed this video, make sure, if you haven't already, click on the notification bell for more videos. Like, subscribe, and let's make this a beautiful world, folks. Because it is a beautiful world, but only from within. Only from with the Christ goddess in our hearts. As Don Miguel Ruiz said, love has to be pouring from within for us to feel the happiness And may you feel that today. Many blessings and one love, my family, and much respect to all of those who have the respect of the original in their hearts. Love you.